In today's market, photography has become more competitive than ever when it comes to selling your work. The iconic symbols and locations from around the world have been photographed millions of times, making it more difficult to stand out from the crowd. So as a photographer, how can you make your work more unique? How do you create something that will generate more sales? Well, that is a good question. How do you create something to stand out from the crowd? And what I thought I'd do is I'd just take this opportunity to make this video, and maybe it might help you guys out when it comes to selling your photography. This is my work that I call the Paris collage. Now, when I was in Paris, I took, I guess, these 4 images, and let's be honest, these 4 images are actually kind of pretty ordinary. But what I did was I used them in a collage where I basically put all the 4 images together. So we've got one image, which is the metro, another image, which is the Eiffel Tower, another image, which is a kind of a long exposure shot where I'm going through a Paris metro tunnel, and also another image, which is a pretty much an iconic style look of a Paris restaurant, which coincidentally, I probably had the best steak ever in my life there. But yeah, I took this shot of the restaurant after I'd finished eating. So now what I had done is when I got back home from Paris, I looked at these shots and I thought, look, there is just no way in the world I'm going to make any money by just selling these shots just individually. They look pretty ordinary. So what I did was I went into Photoshop and I made this kind of a collection to represent Paris. And funnily enough, on my website, this is actually now one of my highest selling photographs, or I guess an artwork now. So what I did was I took it into Photoshop. I created this piece where I moved a couple of the images around into a position where I thought would look pleasing to the eye and make a nice composition. Basically, the only image that hasn't really moved is actually the kind of like blurry long exposure metro tunnel shot. But what I did do is I moved the Paris metro sign over to the left, and then I moved my Eiffel Tower, the iconic Eiffel Tower shot, over to the middle where there was a kind of a bit of a blank space in the canvas. As well as I noticed with the Paris metro section here, there was this bit of dead space here. And what I did was I superimposed that restaurant just in that dead section there. So the technique I used in Photoshop was using elements like screen, the eraser, as well as some just using different opacities on the images. So say for example, the base layer, and the base layer was actually the tunnel shot. So then what I did was from there, I actually moved into position in the metro. I used the eraser tool and I kind of like used a very, very soft edge, and I kind of like cut around in a way around that Paris metro sign there. And then with the Eiffel Tower, what I did was I placed that in the middle. So what I did with the Eiffel Tower, I slightly blended it in with the underground Paris metro tunnel, kind of like burnt it into the image. You can just see slightly over here, the other people traveling on the travelator. And then, yeah, of course, I put my restaurant here in the dead space. Once again, very, very soft with the eraser tool, and just basically made a nice pattern coming through here and coming around there type of thing. And then what I did was I turned the whole image black and white, giving it that real Paris retro type look, added a bit of contrast, did a few things where I lifted up the shadows on the original Eiffel Tower shot just to make it stand out, give it a bit more pop. So there you go, 4 pretty ordinary type shots put together to make a work that stands out from the crowd. So now when it comes to selling your work, that's kind of like half the work done. What I tend to do is with people that go to my website and do get in contact with me, I've got interested customers, clients, I tend to not just send them the image and just say, well, here you go, this is what it looks like. I kind of like, I guess I would call it spoon feeding a baby, where you put the idea in their head of what the actual image looks like in their situation. So say for example, somebody wanted to put this into a French restaurant. They're working on a Paris theme for their bedroom. They're working on a Paris theme for an office or for a waiting area. Give them the idea, plant the seed in their head. Hey, that would look good in my bedroom. You're right. It just gives it that bit of an extra edge over just sending them the image and say, well, here you go, this is what it looks like. It might just give you that little bit of extra oomph that might get you that valuable sale when it comes to selling your stuff. So now this image entitled the Paris Collage, along with another image called the Paris Metro, are my two biggest sellers on my website. And what I'll do is I'll leave a link to both of those in the description below so you can check it out. And who knows, you might be interested in a Paris style theme for your own home or as a gift. Well, there you go guys. I hope this video has helped you out. It's just something that you have to try. It may work for you. I know it has worked for me. This has become quite a good seller for me. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to see more photographic adventures and for more photo tips, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next time.